Good morning once again from the global stage right here at Switch 2025. My name is Bobby. It's great to be back with you here for our final day. This is our second to last market access session, and we are very happy to have our friends from Estonia with us here once again. Latitude 59. But let's talk a little bit about the global stage. I know some of you have already been here for the past previous sessions, but if you're in the venue and they're wondering what's happening at this stage specifically, let me break it down for you really quickly. This stage is about connecting innovators, entrepreneurs, businesses with respective governments, VCs, understanding what people are looking for in a respective marketplace. It's different around the globe. What's on trend? What are things that you need to know? What are best practices? All that you discover right here at the global stage at Switch 2025. And with that, I'm proud to introduce our next session. We're calling it the Nordic Code, Building Innovation Through Partnerships, brought to you by Latitude 59. Let's introduce our moderator, please, Kai Isand, Head of Program at Latitude 59. Give her a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. She's going to be our moderator for today's session. And let's meet our two panelists here. Mart Mazik, General Partner at Nordic Science Investments. Carl, you're so kind to clap for Mart. That's very good of you. Last but not least, Carl Lindhoff, Investment Associate at Scania Group. Ladies and gentlemen, the stage is yours. Enjoy.
Hello, everyone. Yes, friends from Estonia and also friends from Sweden. So we called the session the Nordic Code, but actually we are representing this region we like to call the new Nordics, which is the Nordics and the Baltics combined. And we're very happy to have you here. I can see some familiar faces. So let's give a little bit of an overview of who we have in the audience. So who is not from the Nordics? Yes, half. Very good. And out of you who are not from the Nordics, who has experience in doing business, building partnerships with the new Nordic countries? Any of you? Very good. You are in the right place. So maybe you'll find out something today, I hope. And we don't just have the audience, we have also the speakers. So I'm very happy to introduce Mart and Karl here. So with Latitude 59, we are gathering great ecosystem builders around us. And I'm happy to introduce Karl Lindhoff first from Scania Ventures. You, I think, are the very good person to talk about things that are on a global scale, coming from such a company with a global view, and also how are these partnerships part of this ecosystem building. So hello to Karl.
Thank you. Thank you.
And also I'd like to introduce Mart Mazik from Nordic Science Investment. It's a fund that builds and grows and develops science-backed businesses right from the Nordic and the Baltics. And, well, in my view, you're one of the key people in the Estonian ecosystem. Also, I think you have this thing where you work directly with teams and university projects, and then you kind of translate them into these large-scale projects that actually develop the ecosystem. So hello, Mart.
Hello, great to be here.
Thank you. And I am from Latitude 59. We are a global community platform. We are an event series from Tallinn. And we wanted to put this panel together because, well, one, we are ambassadors of Estonia, ambassadors of New Nordic. So we want to tell the story and, kind of hype ourselves up. But on the other side, we are community builders, event organizers. We believe in community partnerships, getting people together in the same room. So we want to focus this talk a little bit on this Nordic community spirit and especially the partnership building aspect. So let's kick it off. I want to ask you, like I told you, to share a little bit stories rather than, just statistics and numbers. We love our Nordic story. There's a lot of things that we could share, being the best, but we also want to kind of understand the stories, examples. What is this Nordic spirit? And I want to ask both of you, maybe from your earlier career, what are the examples that you can you can share that really made you believe in this power of the Nordic community? Who would like to start?
Yeah, I'm happy to start. There is many stories, and I think maybe my background-wise as well, it's good that yes, I'm an Estonian. The fund, where I'm a general partner, actually located in Finland, and I have also worked 5 years in Stockholm. So I've been in different locations, and that's kind of the learning from different angles. But one of the case, I believe it's a good example when it was the before the remote communication became to the masses. So when I worked for the bank, and we thought about understanding that deliver the transactions over internet, it's so easy, and 99.9% of transactions are made digitally. But it's really hard to deliver advice from distance. And we started to look the problem, why actually people are not ready to communicate as a two-way communication over internet, and we cannot advise our clients. They have to come to the physical places. And we look for the new technologies, and there was technology out there, what is called WebRTC. It was before the Zoom and Teams and everything. It was the first on the browser-only technology as such. At the same time, we thought about there is one of the Swedish company, Ericsson, who is also experimenting a lot of things. And they have made at the same time the idea that we would like to try out somewhere in the really small scale what the technology means in the commercial terms. And so we see the problem, there was the technology, and there was the will to try it out. So, and when comparing the big markets, it's really hard to run out big R&D projects. But then Estonia is super small, and we was ready, so we can move fast. So I think it was a good test platform, and there was the tip-top expertise in technology-wise, and we teamed up together. And that was really kind of the case when the COVID came. Actually, we was already up and online, remote advisory, signing agreements, delivering all the full-scale capabilities. So it wasn't designed for the purpose, but it was just an experimentation, trying out where the value might be, and also bringing together the two mindset. One is about curiosity that we want to try, and the second was deep expertise in the field. And actually, we designed together long-lasting solution for that.
Great. Karl, what do you think? What is from your career or early experience?
So from my side, we experience the Nordic collaboration every day. We work very closely with all the accelerators, academics, startups, and other large corporates like ourselves. But I think one story which is maybe a bit it was before my time, but when the Swedish company Skype was made, but it was part of the Estonian ecosystem. And you're Estonian, so you'll have to correct me if I'm telling the story wrong, but it was basically built in Estonia and then initiated that first generation of founders who then left Skype and built more things, and then that sort of proved the cross collaboration, at least between our two countries. And we've seen similar things with Finland, Norway, and Denmark, which I think is, I see it every day, which is super good.
I really love that you say that, because that was my next question, actually.
Okay.
I was gonna show that as an example as well, because when we talk about Skype, of course, we talk about it as an Estonian company.
We talk about it as a Swedish company.
Exactly. And that's why we're here, with the new Nordic front, right? And that is true. And I was going to ask you if there's other good examples, because Skype, yes, is one of the founding stories. But what about the next generations?
Yeah, I think, and then really going back to the bit of Skype as well, because kind of when you're analyzing the case, I think there was, again, that Estonia has been really a young economy from that point of view. We don't have on that moment when the Skype was launched, we didn't have the skill to sell globally. So that we missed for sure. But we had a really good skill to develop as engineers. So, and that was the kind of example that you're putting different building blocks from different ecosystems together, and you can do it much more effective manner. So that's the part of it. And I think the examples are then what also from our investment point of view, we are meeting a lot of researchers, and then it's also a question that who are kind of validating the quality of research. And I think this is another the good environment from that point of view, that it's very collaborative also on the research level. So the universities are collaborating and the research teams collaborating, and there is this peer reviews and so on. So it means that you don't have to rely only on your one location, one country capabilities, but already you know who are the people around it, and always you can ask the reference. That's about the building the trust as well. So it's not coming nowhere, but when you know that there is the historical connections, you can backtrack them, and then you can move forward thanks to that, because has been joint past.
Yeah.
I think I like to look at it from the. We were talking about it before this stage, but I know at least in Sweden and in Stockholm, there's a lot of startups now sort of maturing and doing their exits. So we'll probably see a new generation of very interesting startups coming out. And I know there are investors from Estonia, from Norway, Denmark, and Finland who are looking at these startups and talking to us, and we are talking to them. At the similar page was this collaboration we have as a corporate with the other big corporates. I mean, the big ones in Finland, Kone, us, Maersk in Denmark, and then that we're also seeing this, and we will definitely be watching these new Nordic startups very closely.
Thank you for saying new Nordic. Yeah, we are. You are the Nordics, and we want to be part of it. So I also want to add, I love the Skype story, and I think one of the things that we talk about in the ecosystem a lot is this idea of, if you see someone doing it, I think it's something where you get the motivation to do it yourself. This is why we call it the Skype Mafia, which in other places has a very negative connotation, right? But for us, it's this beautiful network of people that have maybe been part of Skype success story, saw the founders doing their thing, then went on to found some of the very famous unicorns from the Nordics, right? Wise, Bolt, and then now their employees are doing the next generation. So this is the mafia from the new Nordics. So you can remember that a positive mafia can come out as well. I would like to also focus on the point that, being from small countries, yes, we want to, talk about ourselves as a region. We work together. We have this Nordic spirit, and we also have to go global from day one, right? We need to go out there, start making partnerships. So maybe you can share a little bit on your view how you see this global partnership building. What are the examples, coming from the new Nordics to the world, to here, Singapore, Asia? What are the good examples of these partnerships?
Yeah, so I can, from our side, as you said, being the new Nordic countries individually are not big in numbers, absolute numbers, but sort of our natural resource is, for us it's been industry, talent. For you, it's been talent, and I think in this many ways we have to sort of stick together if we're going to and we know we have to sort of pursue partnerships and be global to be relevant. And for us, we have seen Singapore especially, so I want to give a shout out, as for a long time when we've built our investment thesis from the corporate side as a ecosystem which has built something incredible with not many sort of resources at your disposal. And that's why we, for example, in the partnership question, we've already invested in a Singaporean startup, closed that a couple of weeks ago. And we're very keen to continue to do that. And I think when looking at this from a new Nordic perspective, our deputy prime minister said it, the Swedish deputy prime minister said it, basically knowing that the handshake is a handshake is a very, I think, new Nordic way of doing things. And I understand that it's also a bit of the way of doing things here in Singapore as well. Not as transactional, but you execute together and build trust. And that's why I really look forward to continuing building relationships between the new Nordics and Singapore and the greater Southeast Asia region.
Great.
Yeah, and I think the location is kind of important, and from where you're coming from. But what we see that talent moves where opportunity is, and also capital moves there. So I think, and what we have seen, that talent attracts talent. So I think this is like the pretty unique when you're thinking about the regions where are on the top in the innovation field. Then actually the Nordic is really extraordinary. In the index of the global innovation index, top 20, there is 7 Nordic countries altogether. So that's, I think this is really remarkable from that point of view, that and the Baltic and Estonia. So that's a kind of connection. So it means that talent concentration is there, and that attracts the new people, and it's openness, second part of it. Willing to collaborate, that's a part of it. And we have seen that in our portfolio companies in key that, okay, yes, we are the, most cases, first investors are local ones who know the environment, who know the team, who know the background. But those companies that we are investing and what the people are building, they have to be at least regional, quite often global companies from the day one to design. So it means that kind of who are the co-investors, and I see a lot of here the similarities that definitely for the growth steps and further on next rounds, the co-investment is the key to collaborate primarily. So capital give the common goal. Yes, it's capital is like the enabler, but also quite often capital coming with experience. And with the knowledge of the local markets. So I really believe this is the good tool to help our companies to work together in the both ways. That the investors are global minded and experienced as well, knowing the regions and also knowing with whom to collaborate.
Yeah. Do you want to add?
No, I just think what you mentioned about thinking global, basically from day one, both from an investor side and from a startup side, it's what similarities we share from Nordic as well as, like, for example, here in Singapore. I think it's a super good quality, and we share a lot of similarities in that.
Yeah, I was going to say actually that Singapore, Estonia, we have been compared a lot, small places, very good education. I'm just thinking maybe for us, what you see are the things that we come to learn from here. So the Nordic founders, Nordic investors, we kind of talk about we're very pragmatic, we're very, straightforward. We like to build things very innovative. But what do we come here for? What can we learn from Singapore, from the Asian community culture?
Yeah, the learning is beginning, so I must keep learning. So there is a lot to learn, and discovering day by day much more here. But what I have seen, it's really great. Singapore and the area has been very collaborative, this mindset. But I think how the public and the private capital collaborates, I think this is something unique here. So how well they're supporting each other and empowering. So historically, Europe has been this kind of especially thinking about the research field, research intensive companies. There is the grant funding and there is the VC funding, and you want to keep the bit of distance between each other. But actually, both kind of like hurting out from it. So, but when you know how to kind of combine them together with the same goal, everyone can benefit. So the grant impact output of the science is more easier and more effectively going to the market, but also I think for the risk capital, it's give more confidence to invest. So I think this is really good in that region. What I see that how the private and the public capital supporting same goal. And secondly, I believe this having the long view about investing into the research infrastructure as well. So I think sometimes European and I think region has been maybe project based, but actually it's the goal driven needs to be there. So I think that is maybe something that we are now learning and figuring out what is the effective model for our part of the world, which is really effective here, I could say.
Yeah.
I can think of a couple of things from when we did our investment here. And I think now I'm going to take it from maybe more of a Swedish perspective in the new Nordics. But one thing that I think we can learn a lot from is sort of the sense of urgency in innovation and getting things executed and focus on execution. Nice PowerPoints, that's always good, but getting sort of the business done, I think that's what counts. So I think there we have things to bring home and learn from. And I think Sweden and the Nordics are really good at this. But I think Singapore is one step ahead here, which we can.
Yeah, in somehow it is that when the economy is not too developed, so I think there is hunger to build it and willingness to move faster. But I think once you're becoming wealthy, which is I think what we have in our region and here as well, yeah, here is a really good. It's still the living standard is super high, but the willingness to move fast has remained. So I think, becoming nice and comfortable and stable type of mode, which is also you have to respect, but I think keep moving fast and keep learning the iteration wise. This is really something I fully agree with Karl, that that's a triggering event to understand what actually makes sense and what doesn't make sense. So it's not only about rushing, but it's also learning fast. So that's the most important, not only iterating, not failing, but actually understanding what works. So this is really valuable.
Yeah,
Agree completely.
I'm always happy when the speakers agree with each other. I also wanted to remind, we had a Latitude 59 kind of small Singaporean event a few days ago. We were also talking there about kind of preconceptions and myths, because business is done between people, and we were trying to, kind of bust some myths that are about the connection between Asia and the Nordics. And Johanna Lindros from Caruna Capital said really nicely that maybe it's best to just drop all the preconceptions, the cultural differences, and just kind of start with this blank page, tabula rasa, like just let go of any of the, preconceptions that we have about each other. So I want to leave this thought here as well. But as we are from the new Nordics, we have to talk a little bit also about, we come here, we want to learn, we want to make business and partnerships. But from the new Nordics, what do you think are the most exciting things coming out from our region? Technology-wise, business fields, what would you mention and that the audience can go and look up after? What would they get excited about?
I think from our side, or at least from the Swedish part of the new Nordics, we're seeing a lot of development in very advanced deep tech technologies, mainly AI, energy, and clean tech. We've been sort of the testing ground, I think, for this clean tech infrastructure and sort of patient capital projects, which now have sort of trickled down a new generation of entrepreneurs and investors who will be looking at this. But I also want to mention, I think there is sort of a relationship here, because Singapore is extremely good on the sort of research-backed hard science technologies. And I think we have a lot of strengths in relation to, for example, advanced manufacturing. And I think there's a lot of opportunity here where we can create a lot of value in that partnership between us. The things that are coming out of us, they can go here, and vice versa.
Great.
Maybe I answered two questions.
It's time to plug now a few of these innovations. If there's anyone in your portfolio, is there anyone that you would mention, you would bring out?
Not on top of my head right now,
okay.
But in the break we can definitely.
Yeah. And what I see in our portfolio, adding to what Karl has said about it, it's also health-related topics. So the personal medicine and also kind of preventive medicine itself. So and that's, I think, a really good field as well. There is top research is there. There is a lot of the data kind of capability to work with the data-driven models and kind of genome data-related information to make it actionable for the people, because the hope has been there for the world that we know how the people are built and we can fix it. But I think now we are in that next to that corner and door that we can step into that world. So that's a really interesting space, I believe, where I think we can be extraordinary in the Nordics. And overall, even we are investing, most of the cases are the business to business and industry type of like partnerships. But I think this is also very, very good in the new Nordics, is this customer-driven and user experience design. I think we are how the anthropologically people act and work, and I think understanding how to build experiences. So that's another like a really good skill, I believe, that New Nordics does pretty well. So not only about like the functional innovations, but also experience-wise to onboard the people, to have this distribution available, to have people engaged. I think this is also another like the skill. I believe it's pretty unique.
Yeah, I can't not plug Latitude 59 as well. So if you are interested in the new Nordics, there's of course a lot of great events. Slush in Finland is coming up, Tech Arena in Sweden, Tech Barbecue in Denmark. But Latitude 59 also welcomes all of you. So if you are interested in the new Nordics, we gather every year in May in Tallinn as well. But as we are coming to the end of the talk, I would like to wrap up and ask you. So, we've been kind of praising the partnerships here and then talking about how we need to work together. But are there some things that we need to still put focus on, put attention on? Like, what would be those things that the ecosystem builders, governments should do that the new Nordic Asian connection would kind of flourish in the coming years?
I will speak on the new Nordics ecosystem and what we can do. So I think it's more of an invitation to then the Asian ecosystem, but more enabling platforms for us to exchange ideas and potential partnerships, where potential partnerships can be built. Because I do think if we just sit with each other at the table and find ideas to execute on, then that trust comes from that execution, and that we do things together. So more enabling opportunities and platforms would be great, like the week we've had here today, because I think it also takes more than you fly in for a couple of days and then you fly out. You want to create something substantial here, and vice versa in the new Nordics. So that would be my call to action.
Great.
Yeah, and maybe the aspect that I have seen also when comparing the region here and then the Nordics, I think the same, the pace that really execution. I think also when we have small countries and when you have very distributed, that's nice. But also I think the problem coming together with that if you don't have enough activities, you are not training yourself enough good actually. So, and I believe this is as a region, but we do more kind of like especially spinning out companies from academia, and if you're only spinning out 10 companies per year, you might be good, but you might be much better if you're spinning out 100 companies per year. So I think it's kind of training capability and also learning from each other how to do it well. I think this is really key. I believe so that we can do more, and I think this is like the opportunity definitely as a region that we can learn a lot from each other thanks to that type of like joint effort of it.
I had a thought just now on that as well. I think. From the corporate or industry side, we have a lot of opportunities for what I would maybe refer to as maybe test beds. And I know so does Singapore the work you've done in logistics, for example, with the port terminals and the airports is incredible. But I was also sort of just throwing that out, if you're a startup from Singapore or from the new Nordics, we have capabilities. I'm not going to promise anything here and now, but we have capabilities, like I think from myself, we produce commercial vehicles that are autonomous and electrified, and I think that sort of opens up opportunities for testing new technology or new environments.
Yeah, and also one aspect is kind of the compete or collaborate. I think this is really kind of key as well as a mindset-wise. So and I said about those spin-outs, startups, early days companies. They go for the global market. So and sometimes historically when thinking about I compete with my neighbor. But that's actually not competition. So it's global play, and when you work together, I think you can make things happen much more. So and I think when we have the like-minded people with the same goal, that's kind of the impact. It might be radically bigger ones. So I think this type of like shifting the mind, and this Sweden, I believe, has been extraordinary. This openness for the collaboration. I think this is the key. And I think this is really the mindset which is hard to copy, and everyone will benefiting. You don't know exactly from the day one how they will benefit it, but when you starting to collaborate on its way, you'll be figuring out how it will be win-win-win type of cases. But I think when you're saying that kind of let's park away those kind of assumptions. And starting to collaborate, that's actually that works best. And I think we're doing very well, and other countries can learn from especially from Swedes, how to collaborate in that sense without any expectation maybe from day one, but having the open-minded and optimistic view about the future.
I love that. We think we're going to wrap up on that thought, just having a global view, optimistic view. And I hope that everybody in the audience got a little bit of kind of interest in the new Nordics. We welcome you to come and visit Latitude 59, come visit the countries, the events. And Carl from Scania Investments, from Nordic Science Investments. They will be around. So if you have any more questions, please do come and ask and discuss with us. So thank you for listening, and thank you to our speakers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Big thank you to our panelists. And can we do a group photo with the three of you here? Just come to the front of the stage. Here's our photographer.